Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I'm going to answer one of the questions I get asked by a lot of my friends, especially people that are considering getting into having a concealed weapons license. What is your EDC, your everyday carry? So I've got on the table everything that I typically leave the house with, and I'll go through the various items, explain the rationale behind that item and some important details about it. But most of the time, if I walk out the door, this is what's in my pockets or somehow concealed upon me. So we'll start with, of course, the obvious. You got your keys to your car and your house, which even in a last-ditch effort, even keys can be theoretically used as a weapon if you grip them between some fingers. But really, their primary purpose is to start the car and let me back into the house. Of course, you have to have a cell phone, and you really should have your cell phone on you wherever you go, at any time. Mostly just if people want to get in touch with you. However, it's important to consider if you're forced to use any of your weapons in a defensive situation, it is now a race to 911. The instant you pull your knife, pull your gun, whether you actually pull the trigger or not, it's now a race to call 911 and report the crime, because what you'll tend to find is the first person who calls 911 tends to be preferentially treated as the victim in the crime rather than the aggressor. So have your phone right there handy. I keep mine in a belt holster like this one. It just flips up and the phone slides in and it clips on your belt. There's lots of ways to carry your phone, but make sure you have a good way to carry your phone and you do carry it. One thing I'll note, I'm right-handed. I put my phone holster on my left side because I want to have the ability to access my gun more easily, and the phone is a slightly lower priority in that case. And then, of course, I have a knife. And the knife I have is this Kershaw Cryo. And it's a very durable little knife. It's relatively lightweight. And it's got a few features that make it ideal for everyday carry. One of them is the blade length. It's a 2 3/4 inch blade, which in most cases, and of course we're not lawyers, but in most cases, that results in it being treated as a pocket knife in most employer policies and rules. So it slightly widens the field of area that you can actually have this. Now, of course, you still can't take it into a courthouse or a airport secure area, but there's a lot of places you can have this, or a larger or more elaborate knife you couldn't. So I'll show you a few things about how this works. It's a fairly straightforward knife. There's three ways to open it. One way to open it is to grab it like a typical pocket knife and just open it, and it will lock open. Another way is with this thumb stud, and I'm a little less skilled with the thumb stud. That's not how I tend to open it, but you can flip it with the thumb stud. The way I open this one the most is with the flipper. There's a little lever here, and you just put your finger on it and pull back. Now, of course, if I don't have it blocked by the table, and the knife is open. However, it has a couple features with the flipper that keep it from considering an automatic knife or an assisted knife. It's biased towards closed, so I'm having to put quite a bit of pressure on it to get it to go, and I'm having to overcome resistance. It really wants to, if I start to pull it and let off, it wants to stay closed. So the spring is not helping me open it. The spring is actually trying to keep it closed. It's my strength that's actually opening it. So, perfect little EDC knife. There are more capable knives if you're going to talk about fighting, but this is a knife I can have on me almost all the time. And with the belt clip on this is also reversible, so you can unscrew the belt clip and reverse it around. Now, the way I carry this knife is I carry it in my left pocket because it's the backup weapon, it's not the primary weapon. So I have the clip on this oriented so it's facing down in my pocket. It's actually kind of laying like this. So it's down in my pocket, and I would reach in, grab the knife with my fingers, and I'm putting my finger on the flipper, pulling it out of my pocket, and as I pull it out of my pocket, once I clear the pocket, I just flip the flipper, and now the knife is open, and I can go into whatever grip it is that I'm choosing to use based on the circumstances. So it's a perfect little knife for everyday carry. And then, of course, you have your wallet, which, if you're going to carry weapons, it should also include your concealed weapons license or permit, depending on what it's called in your jurisdiction. Most states, you have to have that on you anytime you have the weapon. Just keep it in your wallet, always have it. Now this particular wallet also happens to be an RFID blocking wallet. So with the newer cards, credit cards with the chip, some of them actually do have RFID in addition to that smart card, and it'll block that so that the wallet can't be scanned by a drive-by scanner, somebody coming up close to you with an RFID scanner and picking up the information. It's really that RFID blocking doesn't add any additional bulk, and I've actually tested this one with NFC, the near field communication, the little discs for your phones, and it does block them. And then of course this is a gun channel after all, so we do have to talk about a pistol. We have the Glock 26. This is a Glock 26 Gen 4. It's a 9mm. It holds 10 in the mag plus 1 in the pipe. And I always do carry with 1 in the pipe. That's another subject that creates quite a bit of controversy. We'll start out by showing you this is unloaded. My thought process behind 1 in the pipe is this gun is a very safe gun. There's multiple internal safeties, and combined with a holster that protects the trigger, the likelihood of this going off in an unintended scenario is very low. But in a defensive situation, you're not going to have time to fumble around with racking the slide trying to chamber it. It needs to come out ready to go. Otherwise, there's a high likelihood that it shouldn't be coming out at all. I'm not a fan of pinky extenders, and there are larger magazines, there are pinky extenders available, but on all my guns you'll find that I have flat bottom magazines. It gives me a good solid 2-finger grip, and I can either just let my pinky hang or I can curl it up underneath. Most of the time it just kind of hangs out there and doesn't do much of anything. But it's a nice solid grip, and it gives you that good compromise between capacity and size and concealability. This one does have the factory Glock sights on it. And the laser on this has got a Crimson Trace trigger guard laser on it. It comes on when you grab the gun. There's a little button right here on the grip that when you grab the gun in a firing grip, the laser just comes on. So it's basically automatic. You don't have to think about it. There's no buttons to reach for, things to depress or switches to flick. You just pick the gun up, get a proper firing grip, and you're ready to go. So look for our upcoming video on this gun. It's with more details of the full operation of it. But basically what I've got here is a double stack 10+1 9mm. And typically I carry it in the pocket. So I have this DeSantis Nemesis pocket holster. And it conveniently covers the gun. This little flap does tend to obscure the outline a little bit, somewhat minimizes printing. And it also gives something that can catch on the pocket. So as you pull the gun out, you just tilt a little bit, and this flap will have a tendency to get caught on the pocket and fall off, freeing the gun. So with this setup, you're less likely to come out with a gun with the holster on it. In the unlikely event that it actually does come out with the holster on it, all you have to do is take your support hand, sweep it up and forward, and then down. So it's like an arc motion. Sweep up, forward, and down. So that, of course you don't want to sweep out because you don't want your hand in front of the gun. But that also would free the holster instantaneously and allow you then to get into the use of the gun. The characteristics of these, they have a slippery inside, so the gun will slide out relatively easy when you pull it. And they've got this texture on the outside that will help keep them in your pocket and keep them from moving around. And they also do keep the gun oriented upright so that they're less likely to kind of roll over in your pocket. This can be used as an inside the waistband holster as well. This texture will cause it to tend to hold against you and your clothes, but it's not an annoying texture. It doesn't hurt you or pinch your skin. But pocket is really how I tend to use this. The other important thing about this is it does completely cover the trigger, and that's critical. When you're reaching into your pocket to grab your gun, the thing you want to get is the grip. You don't want to get the trigger. And this will prevent you from inadvertently getting a hold of the trigger while you're in that stress situation, reaching in there to get a hold of the gun. So it's important, no matter how safe the gun is, how many safeties it's got, never put a gun in your pocket that doesn't have a holster on it of some sort that covers the trigger that can be easily removed as it comes out. One other carry option I've got with this is this DeSantis Pro Stealth. And this is also an inside the waistband holster. The advantage this one has is it does have a clip that's reversible, so you can use this for left or right. And this clip clips to your belt. minimizes the worry that some people might have on something like this where, whoa, what's going to keep it from sliding down? Well, with the clip, it's not going to slide down, it's not going to move. And this has the additional capability of a little mag holder. You can stick one magazine in this, a loaded magazine, as your backup mag. And one final option that I'll sometimes use is the Sneaky P. It looks like an oversized PDA case, but the advantage of it is it holds the gun quite securely. And to draw from it, you just put your thumb under it, flip up, grab, and draw. Which of course is a little more fluid when you're doing it for real on you rather than on a table. And that's one important note, by the way. However you decide to carry, whatever you decide to carry, make sure you practice with it. Unload the gun, have an unloaded gun, and practice your draw. Practice your draw from standing. Practice your draw from sitting in a chair. Very importantly, practice your draw while sitting in a car. These are the situations where you might need to bring your gun into play, and you need to make sure that with the holster combination you've chosen at the moment and the gun you've chosen, that you can safely and effectively bring it out into play. You don't want to find out how to draw your gun from your pocket, let's say while you're in a car, at the moment that a carjacker's standing at the window. Quite a bit of power in a reasonably small package. When I'm wearing most clothes that I wear, this will fit right in the pocket quite conveniently or inside the waistband. But there are times where this is just a little too big. It's a double stack and it's just a little bit big or a little bit heavy, especially if I'm wearing dress pants. So my backup EDC is this little Glock 42 380, which is unloaded. And we do have a video on this. I'll put a link to it in the description. And this is 6+1. And this one is a much smaller footprint, a lot thinner, and will fit into khakis and pants that are more likely to print. And I use this DeSantis pocket holster for it. Because again, don't ever go without a holster that covers the trigger. Or this Sneaky P, which works the same as the other one, it's just a little bit smaller. Now, one thing on this gun is it does have TFO night sights, True Glow TFO night sights. And the advantage of these is they're the tritium fiber optic. So during the day they're fiber optic. You can see they're quite bright. They're picking up light from the ambient light. At night they're tritium powered and they glow. So night sights like this give you the best of both worlds. A lot of night sights are very difficult to see in the day. These are easy to see during the day, very easy to see at night, very easy to acquire. And I haven't gotten around to putting a Crimson Trace laser guard on this, but I will. So what I'll end up having is the combination of the good quality day-night sights and a laser to cover all the various scenarios. And again, like my Glock 26, I don't like pinky extenders, so I have the flat bottom magazines for this as well. So that's a quick summary of what I walk out the door with, my EDC. Look for an upcoming video where we'll do the same thing with Hammer's EDC. We'll show you what he carries. And we'll have an upcoming video on the Glock 26. So if you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you.